Við erum svo stáleppin að hafa hér mjög og einn eftirsóttasta ræðumann Microsoft. Hann heitir Jeff Johnson og kom hér fljúandi yfir stormin ógurlega í nótt og lenti snemma í morgun. Og það eru mjög spennandi tímar hjá Microsoft núna þegar þeir eru að ýta Windows 8 úr vör, sem að eru virkilega spennandi tímar fyrir okkur sem eru í fjarskipta og farsíma bransanum að það er engin vafi á því að Microsoft hefur einstaka stöðu markaðslega hjá fyrirtækjum og mun hjálpa þeim mjög mikið að verða þráðlaus eða mobile. Þannig að við höfum miklar væntingar það hvað Windows 8 mun gera til þess að hjálpa okkur í því. Eins og ég segi þá Jeff Johnson einn af þeirra vinsælustu speakerum og hann ætlar að tala eins og hann kallar þetta Consumerization of IT. Jeff, please. I've said only kind words of you and you are all connected here and ready to go. The floor is yours.
Perfect, thank you. I've been at Microsoft for about 15 years. I saw the launch of many operating systems, and this last week we launched our latest operating system, and we're very excited. For the last 7 years, I've been in a customer advocacy role. That means I get to talk to lots of customers. I talk to about 200 customers a year. About maybe 80 of those customers are on the Microsoft campus. The other 100, 120 are out in the field, traveling the world. I get to travel a lot. In fact, my ex-wife says, she says, it's glad I'm not married because I travel so much, right? About 4 years ago, a lot of customers were asking me, Jeff, what about bring your own device, bring your own computer? And I'm like, well, I don't know why you'd want to do that. It just doesn't make any sense, right? So I had quite a few customers ask me, Jeff, what about bring your own device, bring your own computer? So I went to the Windows client team and I said, hey, do we have a strategy on bring your own computer? And they said, why would you want to do that? Go away, Jeff. And I went to the Windows virtualization team. I said, hey, what about, bring your own computer? They said, why would you want to do that? Go away. And then I went to our System Center configuration management team and they said, go away. Until the iPad hit. And then they all called me. They said, Jeff, what's our consumerization of IT strategy? I said, go away. No, no, I worked with them and we've been trying to figure out, so I spent the next year, this is 4 years ago, the next year understanding and talking with customers, and the first 6 months I was telling the customers why they should not do consumerization of IT, until about 5 customers told me, Jeff, stop. I don't want to do it either. I have to do it. The executives are telling me to do it. The end users are telling me to do it. I'm in the middle. I have to do it. How do I do it? That's what I want to know. And that's what I have here to tell you, is how to do it. And then we'll talk some about Windows 8 and some really fun stuff. Well, embracing consumerization of IT, is it a risk or is it an opportunity to your organization, to your company? Yes, it's both. It's a risk and an opportunity. Well, how do we think about this? Well, first of all, we think about this at a devices. Consumerization is about devices and applications. Consumerization of IT is something different. But let's talk about the devices here really quick. Because our OEMs, our partners, have been created hardware for years and years and years. The businesses were asking them to create faster, cheaper hardware. And it turned out to be very ugly. Is that right? Now, people say, no, we want beautiful hardware. Well, you know what? Oops, I think I did that. I think we're delivering now Our OEMs are delivering on gorgeous, beautiful hardware like this Yoga that turns all the way over. Detachable hardware. Is it a slate? Is it a laptop? Yes, it's both. I played with this Sony Vaio the other day. It slides down very thin. If you travel coach like I do, this fits on the back of that tray. When the seat comes down, it fits very nicely. All-in-one devices that even have hot swappable components in them. Hot swappable components like a server infrastructure inside the touch-enabled all-in-one devices. And things like, this is the thinnest laptop in the world right here, our Ultrabook in the world. In fact, what we're seeing is about 30% of the new Ultrabooks hitting the market are all touchscreen now today. Absolutely gorgeous devices. Yeah, look at that. It's just absolutely beautiful. And Lenovo stepped up, and Sony stepped up, and Dell. I mean, wow, I'm just going on. And this device right here, this is one of my devices that I have. I mean, this device is absolutely beautiful. This is coming out with a touchscreen version. If I threw this hard enough at you, I think I could chop off your head. It's an absolutely beautiful device. It boots, a Windows 8 certified device boots, cold boots, in about 20 seconds. It comes out of standby in about a second, maybe two. This is a new generation of hardware that people are going to love, and we're having great feedback on this already. But consumerization is about hardware and applications. Consumerization of IT is about something else. If you start allowing your people to do consumerization of IT, you're allowing them mostly to be logged on as an administrator. If we're talking about it's a PC. It's their own device. They can do whatever they want. Well, they could do whatever they want on their own device. Well, that's interesting. How do we do this? Well, we do this with our eyes wide open. Because if someone has the ability to install whatever they want, they might install something like, I don't know, Google Chrome, 152 vulnerabilities in 2011. Whoa, wait, Microsoft, 59? We're not that bad, right? Let's do consumerization of IT, but let's do this with eyes wide open. Applications. Apple WebKit, wow, Adobe, operating system, I'm not that bad. If you take a look at browsers over history, just browsers, I'm the only one trending down. But you know what? I'm not here to, poke at the other guy. Well, maybe a little bit. Very proud of where we're standing, where we've gone on security. I'm very proud of the work that Microsoft has done on security since about 2004. We've been doing very well. This is all nsit.gov or Securnia website information. This is not Microsoft studies. Do it with eyes wide open. Well, devices. Everyone's talking about devices. How do you think about the devices? Now, this is an interesting piece. We see this as 4 major quadrants of devices that are out there. You're either on your own. Let's see, the Kindle Fire comes out, and it has a remote desktop client on there that can connect to your backend infrastructure. Well, can you as an IT organization support that today? Can you support every device that comes out every week? No. So at some layer, you have to say, if you bring that device in, you're on your own. Don't call me for support. We good? We also see bring your own, like we talked about earlier, bring your own unmanaged or bring your own managed. I see that in 2 different quadrants. Most companies worldwide have been, here's your own. Welcome to the company. Here's your device. The device is too big, too small. It crushes the seat on the, in coach. It does, my fingers are too big. And it was ugly. Microsoft has been a choose your own. It's not choose every device in the world. It's choosing a subset of devices that might meet the needs of my work group. Well, if we put this into a continuum of how we think about these devices, I'm giving you a strategy of consumerization of IT. We put this on a continuum and we say, well, Who purchases the device? That's pretty easy to figure out. Who purchases the device? Who manages the device? Oh, I think what the most interesting one here is, who influences the purchasing of the device? IT has the ability to, when a user comes up to you and says, should I buy this device or this device? IT can say, we support both devices, but you could do more as an end user, as an individual, if you choose this device. We recommend this device over this. We'll support both. And this is where Microsoft's playing in that game very, very well, because it's access versus risk. Access to content versus risk avoidance. That's what IT is about. Well, wait a second, that's interesting. Think about this. These are the capabilities that you support today, most likely, and you could put your own in there. Those are the capabilities. These are the devices that are out there, and this is where IT can say, well, we support this, we don't support that, we do support this. This is a statement from IT to the end users to say this is what you can expect from IT if you purchase this device. This is how we support you as an end user, as an individual, as a business owner of that organization. I've had many executives say, Jeff, I want that slide on my intranet as a supportability statement down to the business units. See? I think it's fantastic. I wish I invented that slide. I stole that slide from a colleague. But consumerization of IT is not about devices. It's not about applications. Well, what is it? Consumerization is about devices and applications. Consumerization of IT is about an access strategy. It's based off of who are you? Who are you? You're read-write, you're full control, you're no access. Who are you? We've done computing like that since the mainframe. And that was okay when all of the devices were managed. But now that we have some devices that are managed and some devices are not managed, and some devices we try to manage but we can't really manage them very well, it's not just who you are anymore. It's who are you plus how much do you trust the device? Because you don't change, your device changes. Let me ask you this. I'll prove to you that consumerization of IT is not about devices and applications based off one question. Would you feel comfortable if President Obama had nuclear launch codes on his iPad? The real answer is, I don't want anybody to have nuclear launch codes, but we all agree then, if you agree with that statement, we do not want President Obama to have nuclear launch codes on his iPad, then we agree that not all data is created equal and not all devices are created equal. Right? Who are you? How much you trust the device? And where are you? Where are you? Are you on the intranet or are you in the internet? As a Microsoft employee, I have access to certain applications on my Windows phone that only light up when I'm on the corporate network. Very sensitive information on that phone, but when I take that outside the corporate network, I don't have access to that content. I trust that device less. Or there's Mary. Mary has a desk job. She should never leave that desk. Why is she accessing the financials from China? Where are you? I work with the Department of Defense. What was once a friendly country today, tomorrow is a hostile country. I trust those assets less. Who are you? How much you trust the device? And where are you? Accessing what? Accessing what? Accessing content. Low business impact, moderate business impact, high business impact. What are you accessing? Because if I publish out information to the internet that any device in the world can access, but it's low business impact. You have a username and you have a password and you have a website. Go for it. Awesome. I can say awesome. I'm from Southern California. I grew up as a surfer. Okay? So Microsoft went through a data classification study to look at all of our content, all of our data, and we categorize that. When we have an executive that says, why can't I have that information on my laptop as I travel the world or different countries? Oh, it's because if you lose that content, you'll go to jail. Microsoft doesn't say that. It's SOX, it's HIPAA, it's these government regulations who say that. So you think about this. We have low business impact, moderate, and high, and we start putting in medical records, source code, financials. Is email, wait, email, is that low business impact? No, not necessarily. That's where we use something called digital rights management, DRM. We can secure the contents or encrypt an email so that it can only be viewed by a managed device. And I'll expand on that here in a second. So think about this. If we have external kiosks, if we have devices like phones and slates and things like that, and then we have managed devices. Well, let's start up here, a basic access to an external kiosk. Recently, I was in Amsterdam at a coffee shop. Now, apparently, the coffee shops in Amsterdam are a lot different than the United States Starbucks. I found this out. And I could be, as a Microsoft employee, I could be at a kiosk in Amsterdam, at a coffee shop. With a username and a password, I can gain access to email, calendar, and contacts. Unless it's DRM'd, digitally rights managed, then I can't see it, but I can see that from a managed device or the other device. I can go to extranet.microsoft.com and get a hold of a few basic documents, but I can't get to other documents. The cloud does not have to be all or nothing. The cloud can be federated. The cloud can say, I can put most of my, let's say it's a CRM, a customer relationship management database, on the cloud. That all of these devices, I can't really control what device enters into this cloud, but they only have a subset of the information. The secret, more sensitive information is still behind my firewall. Consumerization of IT is an access policy. But if I'm talking about a Windows 7 or a Windows 8 device, Microsoft uses direct access. How many of you have heard of direct access before? Okay, and probably hardly of you have implemented it. Let me tell you how we use this at Microsoft. You ask any Microsoft employee, how would they feel? How would you feel if I took direct access away from you? But seriously. Bad. I had an account executive say, Jeff, I would stab you in the eye. 3 weeks ago, true story. Well, what is this thing? What is this thing? Let me relate it to you in a different way. You have VPNs today. When you're at home, or when I used to use a VPN, I'd be at home, walking around. I do this when I'm at home, walking around for some reason. I don't know why. And I go, oh, there's that thing I have to do at work. I have to do that thing that takes 30 seconds to do. Ooh, but I don't want a VPN in, right? That takes how long? Average is about 5 minutes. Is that about right? Ugh. So I'll queue up a bunch of things. I'll queue up a bunch of work to do, and then I'll VPN in. And if I queue up 10 things, I'll forget 2 of them. 2 of the 10, I'll do the 8. Does that sound about right? No. Here's how a Microsoft employee works today. I'm at home doing this. I open up my device. It turns on in seconds. I log on, and it sets up a connection for me in the background back to corporate. Automatically. This is a managed device. It's fully encrypted, fully managed, always on that network that I have access to LBI, MBI, and HBI. I do that thing, I close my lid. Oh, there's the other thing I have to do. Open it, go through it, close the lid. Today we have to be doing things in months, not years, in weeks, not months, In days, not weeks, in hours, not days. Why that one executive said he'd stab me in the eye? Because he would lose productivity. And that's IT's job, is to increase productivity. But Jeff, there's other devices that are out there. That's fine. We have something called Unified Access Gateway. And this is not a sales pitch. I'm giving you the strategy. Who are you? How much you trust the device? And where are you? So here's these devices out there that are somewhat managed to not managed. I can provide access to LBI and MBI out to those devices. If we're talking about MBI or HBI, I'll use some kind of virtualization, terminal services, VDI, something like that. There's nothing local resident on that device. Who are you? How much you trust the device? Where are you? Accessing what? LBI, MBI, or HBI? It's very simple, but it's based on best practices of security policies. When we think about this holistically at Microsoft, whether I'm talking about these wonderful devices that I just showed you, down with our Windows Phone and our new Windows 8 line, we think about this as security and manageability across the different, not just Microsoft, but across the stack, across the different devices. Why? Why? Jeff, it's consumerization of IT. It's like, love and peace and bring any device you want in and don't manage it. No, this is IT, right? How much you trust the device. If I trust it more, I give it access to more. It's not just who you are. Productivity across the stack and application development across the stack. Well, with Windows 8, what we've built into Windows 8 is not an operating system or a device that will meet today's needs of the end users, but today's for the next quite a few years out. A no-compromise business tablet. This is my production tablet right here. Now this one's about 7 years old, or not 7 years. It's a Samsung 7. It's about a year old. I've personalized it. It's beautiful. It has touch capabilities. I have a password, a picture password. I'll show you that in a demo here in a second. This is a beautiful device. But you know what? It's no compromise. It's a full volume encryption. I dock this device when I get to work, and I have Multimon running with a mouse and a keyboard. And this is a desktop replacement right here. A desktop replacement. The work we've done, and hopefully you've seen the Windows RT devices with the beautiful keyboards, because, touch is fantastic. We want to do some real work. I love the iPad, don't get me wrong, and I think it's beautiful, but when I start to see all of the attachments people are putting on them and the keyboards, and it just starts looking ugly. Really? Right? Great devices, beautiful devices that people will love. Now, Windows Phone is starting to share a lot of the same kernel as Windows Desktop. Ooh, that's pretty interesting. And Windows RT running on that ARM processor. Well, we think about this Windows 8 environment. Let me hit a couple of these things. I already talked about the no compromise tablet. New possibilities. I already talked about direct access. We have a new possibility because I run Windows off of this. This is called Windows to Go. This is a fully managed, BitLocker secured operating system on a hard drive right here. Fully managed. I plug this into my home computer and I have direct access, even though it's my home computer. This is a managed computer. I can disable the local C drive. When I boot off this, I have to put a password in. This is my computer. I just borrow a peripheral wherever I want. I can plug this into your computer or your computer, the physical device, but the operating system is mine, or Microsoft's. This is a pretty compelling statement right here, with lots of use case scenarios. I have executives that say, Jeff, they say they purchase about 10,000 laptops for contract workers. He goes, does this mean the contract worker could bring in their own device and I give them a USB stick? Yep. Wow. Huge. Well, security enhancements. The more I trust a device, the more access I'll give the device. So BitLocker encryption. We also have something called trusted boot. Trusted boot. You all know, like you've seen things around rootkits and malware and things getting in between the operating system and the boot up process, right? This is nasty stuff. I don't trust that. We've eliminated that with Windows 8. You all know what BIOS is. Well, UEFI is the new BIOS. It's like pink is the new black, right? UEFI is the new BIOS. So when UEFI launches, it can only hand off things to the operating system that it trusts, that it has a certificate for. So if I get some malware in between my operating system and my boot up process, it stops the boot up process and says, I can't load anymore, you've been infected. Awesome. There's another thing we put for measured boot. Let's say a friend of mine who I explicitly trust. He's from Kenya, but he sends me an email. And it says, Jeff, just run this thing. It's called getrichquick.bat. Well, I explicitly trust him, so first of all, Windows says, no, don't do this. This is stupid. But I copy it to my local hard drive, and I right-click it, and I run it as administrator, right? Awesome. Maybe this is not me. Maybe this is your employees or your parents. And it replaces kernel files, it replaces drivers, it replaces other things, and then it sends all your bank information to some mafia organization. That's what it does. What we do at Windows 8 is, during the reboot, it starts booting, and it runs into a file that's been replaced that it doesn't trust. It says, stop. Stop the boot up process. Let's reboot. Let's look at every single file, kernel, and driver in the boot up process and replace anything that's changed. Reboot one more time, and we're back to square zero. Yes, awesome. If you get in a really bad way, we have a single reset button to get you back to your original build, your deployed build of Windows, or back to a factory reset on Windows. Awesome. Well, this Windows RT devices, we're loving them. It shares the same code as our Windows x86 device also. Let me do a little bit of demo here now then. Let's talk about this RT environment. Now, it's an RT environment. It's interesting. Oh, but before I do that, I have to give you a disclaimer. And by the way, can you give me like a 5 or 10 minute, when I'm close to time? Thank you. When I used to demo Windows Vista and Windows 7, yeah, I love Windows 7. I had to show you my personal life. I had to open an application to show you my life. If I were to demo you Mac OS X or Mountain Lion or whatever, or even iPad, I'd have to show you I'd have to open an application to show you my life, right? Business or personal. Windows 8 brings my business life and my personal life to my start screen. So this is my disclaimer. Things that you might see that pop up for my personal life, pictures or emails. Look away if it offends you. Are we okay with that? How many of you played with Windows 8 yet? Okay. Let's give you a little rundown here. This is, first of all, let's log off this device. Or let me just lock it. I love skiing. I skied 85 days this last year. I personalized my start screen. I skied 85 days, yes. I personalized my start screen. Now, I have a few notifications here. I can add more down to the bottom here, like how many emails I have, or where I'm supposed to be, or wireless connections, battery, things like that. So I'm not going to use a keyboard, I'm just going to use my fingers, right? So I'm going to swipe up. I'm going to swipe up and put a picture password in. A picture password, because when I'm using a device like this, I don't want to type in a password. Apparently, the algorithm to protect that picture password is secured enough that Microsoft IT allows me to use that. Microsoft is the second most attacked entity on the internet. We talked to the United States government. We told them how many attacks that we have per second against our DMZ. They said, you're number 2, we have more. They wouldn't say how many more. They just said, we're number 2. So right away, what do I see here? I see that I have these tiles. I like to say the icon is dead. The icon is dead. What is an icon? It's a visual representation of an application. A tile is also a visual representation of an application, but it gives me information. I see trending for Bing. I see some NASDAQ information. I see some weather. I see some pictures. I see things coming to me. We're working with a police department who gets something called All Points Bulletin. Be on the lookout for this person, right? Today, in their police car, they have to open an application to see that. There's been instances where they've pulled over a driver for speeding, let him go, give him a ticket, let him go, and then later found out that they're supposed to be on the lookout for this person. Horrible stories. But we're able to even change the color of this tile from green to red and give a notification to the police officer to be on the lookout for this person. Including line of business uses on this device. Well, let me give you a quick run through. We're analyzing all the edges of windows to understand where a finger is touching it from. If I swipe from the right to the left, I get my charms. My charms kind of gives me back to a start screen. So if I'm at my desktop, here's my desktop running PowerPoint, and I go to my charms and hit start, and there's where my programs are. I can pinch and move programs around. I haven't labeled these programs, but I could call those work programs, personal programs, whatever. Right? One of the great things is, what I'm able to do is have these applications interact with the operating system in unique ways. So for instance, if I type in Iceland, I see that I have 20, I'm going to click with my finger, files, I have 20-something files, right? If I click Internet Explorer, I'll take that search query into there. Now I'm not typing anything, right? I typed it once. If I look at a map, it's going to bring up Iceland, California, or something like that. I saw this earlier. Right, there we go. Or Iceland. Oh, come on. I can do it. If I look at, oh, here we go. Yay, I found it. If I look at finance, if I look at sports, if I look at gadget, if I look at people, if I look at, see how we can interact with the operating system in a natural way. And I only typed in one thing, but I was able to go from app to app to app to get information that was relevant to that search query. Let's go back to Internet Explorer. And let's take a look at this Bing search. We'll take a look at Wikipedia, see what they see about Iceland. This is my second time here. Love it. Absolutely. Now, what's interesting is we want to share information. And what do you do today? Well, on a tablet, you know, you're like, copy, you're just, you know, just, oh, that's not very fun. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit share. I'm going to share with a mail. And then I can pick out my friends I want to share this information to, right? Now what's going to happen here, it's going to take some of this, depending on the site, it's going to take the appropriate information and bring it in here. Whoa! Yay. Really? That's pretty awesome. Yeah, thank you. That's pretty awesome. Because think about how you use this device or device with a keyboard. Wait, keyboard. I could also do keyboard stuff too. Let me go back to my desktop, stop my presentation, and do something different. Now I hit the Windows key this time rather than doing the charms. Oh, and by the way, you know the Alt-Tab that we had in Windows? I still have Alt-Tab. I'm going to swipe from left to right. Swipe, 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 swipe. Wow, that's pretty awesome. All right. But you know what? I'm a pretty quick typist. I want to open up Excel. Wait, what? What did I just do? That was so fast. Do it again, Jeff. Okay. EXC, enter. Keyboard and mouse works great with Windows. No compromise, business tablet, enterprise class and secure, BitLocker, direct access. I can access LBI, MBI, HBI. Oh, but you have your own consumer device. That's great. Put some sort of manageability on there. The more I manage it, the more access I'll give it. You have a choice. You have a choice between a device that does not provide very much manageability, hardware, software, inventory, application deployment, or you have a device that provides deep integration with application, hardware, software, inventory, application deployment, lifecycle management. Your employees have a choice of which device to buy. You can support both, and that's great. We support both. We support both applications, or both devices, my competitors' devices. You're supporting your competitor's devices? That's just crazy talk. Let me get to that. If we're talking about Lync and SharePoint and Office 365 and all of these great products, we're talking about supporting those on all the major operating systems and devices that are out there. That's Microsoft's in consumerization of IT. We can do it better, but we'll support everybody else. And I agreed with the first speaker, was it Robert, right? The Android devices, those are some of the scarier devices that are out there as far as security and vulnerabilities. So this productivity play, what's really interesting is over the last few years, IT has been really focused on driving down the cost of IT. And I think this last couple years, we're not driving it, the goal isn't to drive it down to its lowest point. The lowest point is a locked down, well-managed device. Locked down and well-managed. What do I lose if it's locked down or well-managed? I lose agility. What we're seeing today is IT trying to understand how far they want to control the cost and increase agility. Increase agility, increase productivity. We're going down that path and supporting multiple devices across the platforms, whether we're talking about Lync or Skype or Dynamics, staying productive on the go. Productivity. People say, I love my slate. It gives me that productivity. That's fantastic. Microsoft's goal is to enable that times 100. Because I can trust that device more. I can deploy those applications. I can understand. I have full lifecycle management of the device, whether I own it or not. Whether it's the employee's device or my device, by putting simple management tools on there, whether it's from us or anybody else. That's the strategy, right? Enabling the presence, whether you're in an integration. A big topic this last maybe 9 months or a year is enterprise social. Embedding everything into enterprise social as we can. Like for instance, my Dynamics application here. If I look at my Dynamics application, this is a mock-up of what it could look like. If I go in here to pending approvals, it's pulling this information from my back-end services, but I also have presence through link and exchange. And if I wanted to talk to Jack, he's available. Harry is away and Sally is not available right now, probably on a call or in a meeting. That's 5 lines of code to make this work. 5 lines of code in your custom application to light up that capability. By the way, it's 2 lines of code to enable your application to show up here in search. Oops. In all these things. That's like 2 lines of code to enable that. You don't have to build search into your own app. You enable the operating system to do it. And by the way, application development, I think that's in here. Application development. Just got off the phone 2 weeks ago with an executive from a bank, an IT executive from a major bank that you would know the name of. I don't have the permission to tell you the name. They did a business, so we see applications in 3 different lights. Business to consumer, business to business, right? Or just consumer apps. They're writing a business to consumer application for their bank. They wanted to create an iPad app or an iOS app and a Windows 8 app. The capabilities were exactly the same in both applications. The iOS app took 6 months to create. Objective-C is really great for making something simple when you're tying back-end services like SAP and Oracle and SharePoint and all these back-end services. It becomes more difficult. The Windows 8 application, 3 months. Same capabilities, same feature set. And our application written in HTML5 and JavaScript will not only work on my device here, you take the same code and very little changes, you publish that up to a website, SharePoint site or a website. So now that same code can be used by any device that can take advantage of HTML5 and JavaScript. It's not device dependent. Most people think Microsoft's pretty cool if you're in the Microsoft bubble. Things work pretty well. We are popping that bubble and saying, look, we're embracing all of these things. We're going to try to do it the best and do it better as far as security manageability, productivity. But if you want to use any other platform, go ahead. We're going to embrace that too. It's a great strategy for Microsoft to burst that bubble, and hopefully that's what you're kind of realizing today through this presentation. Application development. To run these apps not only on the Windows platform, the Windows RT platform, the Windows Phone platform, a website, and possibly even an Xbox. Unbelievable reach. Unbelievable reach. This is our direction. This is where we're going today with our new Visual Studio platform and our vision. So what's next for everybody? If you got anything out of this hour, consumerization is about applications and devices. Consumerization of IT is about an access strategy. Who are you? Where are you? How much you trust the device? And what are you accessing? LBI, MBI, or HBI? If you're just talking about LBI, pop it on a website, username and password, go ahead, I don't care. MBI, you start to get in trouble. HBI, you very much get in trouble. That's the strategy. Have a no-compromise business tablet, whether the company purchases it or the user purchases it. You have the ability to help your users make that choice. You have the ability then to say, these are all the devices out there we support, and this is what you can expect as far as your supportability. And with that, we have any questions?